And ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back.
Woo!
After not honestly that much time away, but we're back.
It's the new year, though.
It's the new year. Yeah.
Our previous podcast was last year,
Yeah.
so it's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a while. How are you guys?
Yeah, we don't know how to do things anymore.
I can barely recognize anybody. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been like we talked about it just before going live, doing nothing, like enjoying ourselves without like working on the channels.
Yeah. It's been weird. It's been really weird. Like I forced myself, because part of it was I also wanted like my team to be able to kind of relax. So I was planning on doing a bunch of streams and extra stuff while we were in Arizona, while we were doing all that to try and fill out the content calendar. And then finally I was just like, this is supposed to be kind of like a reset, a reboot. Let's relax.
Yeah.
And it was freaking weird because I'm not used to that. So, yeah.
No, but it's good. And when I do it, and I should do it more often as well, when you then come back, you have like this newfound energy. Yeah, for me at least, I'm like, let's do it. I'm still not there yet because I won't be doing a lot of things until Monday, but yeah, I'm already. And to be fair, like I still had some like things reach out. Like there have already been some review codes sent and some like other things going on. So it feels like this year is starting way faster than normal.
Mhm.
With of course the amount of games that are already coming out in January and even February stuff that we will go over here. But yeah, it's been nice. But how was your trip?
It was good. It was good. Yeah, the boys traveled great. They're little troopers. Lockie and Ori got to swim in the pool. Ori got to swim in the pool for the first time. He's only 6 months old, so he got to hop in for the very first time. And the little bugger loves it. Like he was trying to like get out of my arms and just go swim by himself. So he's gonna be a little merman, no doubt. And in general, it's just really, really good. It was rejuvenating. Went to a place with probably the best steak I've ever had in my life. This thing was a 12-ounce filet mignon, and that thing was like huge and stupid thick. In the words of Lil Wayne, she was dummy thick. And my God, it was wonderful. And then we also went to a speakeasy. And it was like the whole premise of it was that it was supposed to evoke emotions and memories of Prohibition, if you somehow remember that. And so like it's hidden in downtown Chandler. And if you want to find it, you get like a basic description. Even on their website, it just says like, follow the red light to the wooden door. And then they give you like a block that it's on, a city block that it's on. So we ended up just like walking around trying to find it, and we finally were like, I think we're just gonna give up and we're not gonna find it.
You were in exploration mode.
Yeah,
it sounds like
we turned off the HUD and we were just going at it. And eventually we found it. You know, we were like, do we just tell everybody that we couldn't find this damn thing? And so we're like walking back to where we came from. And then I turn, and on the side of the building is a singular light shining down that's red. I was like,
nice.
That's got to be the landmark thing, right? So we went over, and there's, you know, behind a bunch of bushes, a hidden stairway down underneath the building. And then you walk in, and it's a really cool bar with amazing drinks and stuff. But it was honestly, it was kind of cool because it was like you got to go on exploration mode, like you said, and find it. And it worked nicely.
There were no YouTube videos.
No guides. Yeah, where were you when I needed you?
Yeah, sorry, man. I haven't been there yet. Never say never. And I'm not sure if people like that are listening and watching. Thank you for joining, of course, also in the new year. Hope everyone had a wonderful time with family and friends, hopefully. That your voice is a bit more relaxed than normal. I'm just, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it also the first time that you're talking into a microphone?
Yeah, well, so we took off, I don't know how many, like 2 weeks from filming videos, and the streams normally help my voice stay really strong because I'm talking for like 4 or 5 hours straight.
Yeah.
But yesterday I tried to film the first video back and it was just a pretty straightforward video. It'll be going up here in about 5 minutes on the main channel, but like a really straightforward video. But it took me like 5 freaking takes. It took me all afternoon to film this damn thing of just starting. I was like, no, I hate this. And then restarting and then doing it and starting over and over and over. So I filmed.
Hours.
Yeah. I filmed the damn thing like probably 3 times over when all was said and done. But as a result, my voice just went out. And so by the end of it, I sounded like a prepubescent boy. It's just like, okay, everybody. My voice was just cracking all over the place. So it's still recovering. I have to work the muscles back up, and then they'll be fine. But yeah, that's why my voice might sound a little strained, because I pushed it too hard.
But we will see the result on the main channel. Well, what's the video about? What's the tease?
Suicide Squad killed the Justice League.
No.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
What else is there to say? There has not been any news.
Kind of a general recap of everything. Also going through the fantastic article that was put together by Miller Ross, kind of breaking down
the leaks.
Yeah, and the debunking a lot of the stuff, but also adding in his own 2 cents. And we can talk about all that. Basically, my main takeaway is that they've poured a lot into this project, and it seems like a lot of the key talent within Rocksteady has pivoted off. Potentially, there's reason to believe they might be going off to a new studio within DC, because Rocksteady's about to basically just become a support studio for Suicide Squad for
if it does well,
a while. But even then, like, they apparently have data mined information that suggests that they already have like player or playable characters that are 2 years away, like multiple season passes and battle passes away.
I mean, Avengers had that as well, though. Like that. That's kind of I think that.
I think it's par for the course for these types of games, but it does just still show you that these games are not designed to release and then, okay, well, it wasn't received that well, let's move on to the next
you're
thing.
Right.
You know, they're putting all their eggs in the basket because they kind of have to.
Yeah. So basically, and this kind of sounds harsh, but if you don't want Rocksteady to become a Suicide Squad studio, don't buy the game. It's like one way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, basically. But at the end of the day also, and this was one of the more novel things that maybe I shouldn't spoil in my own video, but there was a really good Reddit post put forward by somebody that basically went through this whole theory breakdown of why they thought Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker, the founders, left. And a lot of people have just assumed like, oh, well, they left right before all of this crap hit the fan. So they must have seen that it was going to be bad and then left before it made them look bad. And that's one interpretation, which might be true. The other interpretation is that James Gunn has been talking a ton about how he wants to unify the games and the films. He wants it to be a much more integrated thing. And Rocksteady is going to be tied up for years very soon and unable to work on any major single player adventures. Like Rocksteady's smaller than Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog was saying that their whole studio would basically have to be converted if like The Last of Us Online were to be released and supported properly. So as a result, like, it makes sense that maybe they left together to go and found and start working on a new studio that's basically going to be the spiritual successor to Rocksteady, now that Rocksteady is going to be a live service studio. So I thought that was really compelling, really interesting, but it does just go to show you these studios are defined by the people within them, not by the studio. It's just not that simple to say that, well, Rocksteady made my favorite game ever, Batman Arkham City, therefore everything else they do is going to be great. It's like, no, it's the people that made it in that building that matter. Yeah,
and did you see that there were previews coming up as well? Some people were able to play the game. And talk about it on January 9th. So next week, when we do the show, we will have some impressions from those people. Of course, I mean, I'm not sure if press played it as well. I've mostly seen just like enthusiastic, like people that covered Avengers, for example, a lot as well.
Yeah.
Being sent out to play, which of course really cool for them. But yeah, I'm curious what if they're. I mean, IGN will probably have like a touch on it
I
as well.
did
Maybe
see
some other people.
I did see Game Informer. They sent out a
Oh, okay.
picture, so they will be there.
Yeah, then other press probably as well.
Probably. But like the one guy I brought up in the video that'll go up was Lejeune or L-A-A June, or I'm not sure how he wants to pronounce, but was this individual. And just like you said, this is a creator. It's so similar to Hogwarts Legacy. This is a smaller creator who is a fan of what they've done so far.
I know. Yeah, I know him. He's great. Yeah.
Yeah. He I watched a couple of his videos and he seems very similar to a lot of the guys that got invited out for Hogwarts Legacy. Just seems like a really upbeat, positive guy. Seems like he'd be an amazing guy to hang out with. But like you said, he's covered a lot of like the Avengers game, long-term support. He's a fan of these types of superhero live service games. And that is the target audience for Suicide Squad. So it makes sense why they're bringing them out and maybe not bringing out.
Yeah, but of course they know he will probably be positive about the game, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, it makes sense because they want to sell the product. But yeah, they did not reach out to you, for example, and I have been like critical of the game as well to say, hey, we are confident that you will love this.
Yeah.
And that because that would be, of course, I think an even bigger statement if we would next week be able to talk about it and say, no, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I hope that that's still true. And of course, the companies can decide who they invite and who not. But yeah, they went one way, and that's fine.
Exactly. It's with Hogwarts Legacy, I think it worked really well because Harry Potter is so huge that
and
a lot
the game
of people,
was great. So.
Yeah, the game ended up being pretty good. But like that franchise is so big, it was going to sell millions and millions of copies, even if it was absolute garbage, just because of Harry Potter. And the fact that it was like they had a fully crafted version of Hogwarts Castle for you to explore. Like just that was enough for people to want to buy it. So bringing in less critical people to try the game early and to promote it, I don't think it was as big of a deal because they were largely preaching to the choir. In this case, you're talking about a game that has a very negative public perception. Pretty much every video that they post online is getting downvoted at least 50% negative, depending on the platform and the channel. Sometimes it's 60, 70, 80% downvoted. So there's a lot of not even skepticism, I think straight up cynicism related to this game. And I was hoping that they would try to buck that they try to shake it with maybe inviting, I'm not saying me, but just anybody that's been a little bit more critical of it to try and win them over. Or like, again, a public beta where you can publicly discuss the game.
They can maybe still announce that.
I'm hoping that's what they're going to be doing on the 9th.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah, I tried the game and soon you can too. If they do that, that could be the best way to alleviate all of these concerns. Because if the game really is that good, just let people play it and be convinced of it. They already have the thing built out.
Yeah, but of course the beta also caveats there, like it will probably be a few hours, and the best parts are usually with these live service games. Like if you could only play the first few hours of Avengers, you would be pretty positive because these hours are really good. But then at one point the grind starts to set in, and that's where things are not that great. I want to kind of say sorry to Rando Sledge, because they said, please go 1 week without mentioning Suicide Squad. It's a trash game that's gonna flop. In the comments under our previous episodes. So sorry about that.
Sorry, not sorry.
Are there any final thoughts? Because then we're gonna drop it. And if people want to learn more, they can, of course, watch our video. And next week we will talk about it because, then we finally have new info.
Yeah.
So,
cool. Yeah, I mean, final thoughts. We're all just keeping a close eye on it. And I think the reason that we are keeping a close eye on it and that we want to talk about it is because this is from a beloved studio that I grew up playing their games. And like Batman Arkham City to this day is one of my favorite games of all time. Like probably top 3. It just hits me in the feels every time I play it and boot it up. And so it comes from a place of love. I want this to be their magnum opus. I want this to be the best thing they've ever done. And the fact that it's probably not is just really heartbreaking because I know what they're capable of, and that makes it tough. Any closing thoughts from you?
No, let's wait and see what the previews say, and then we can also see who they invited and what they are talking about. And I mean, they will have another insider as well. It just kind of, I mean, it is kind of what we feared, that they will probably, if this game is successful, be a studio that only supports it. That's kind of sad. But on the other hand, the chances that this is a success, sadly, is very low. Even if the game is really good, we know what it takes to get people hooked. And why every studio that never did a game like this before and is doing it on this high of a level did not succeed. So I have a hard time believing that. It will be different this time, but we will see, and I hope it's good. That's what I also said. Like, I want every game to be great, but so far not proven otherwise. So.
Yeah. Also, Joaquim, thank you. 11 months of membership. Ooh, baby, we're close. Happy New Year to both of you. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well,
my friend. 1 year of support. That's crazy. That's fantastic. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things we wanted to tackle in this episode was kind of the discussion around 2024 and the big releases, because apparently last week when we were talking about it, we missed a good number of releases.
Yeah, it was not really the intention of the episode, of course. It was to do some predictions for the new year, but then we had nice digs in the comments under that YouTube video that, of course, after we go live, the video stays up on the Luke Live channel. Said, you guys made so many games that we're getting this coming year. We're going to be bloated with so many. Because I do remember you pointing out, and rightfully so, that it won't be the same as last year. We can now say last year and then talk about 2023.
Yeah, how weird is that?
But and how we're kind of like especially afraid of that May, June, sort of like that summer, that extended summer period, like those middle months of the year. That's probably there are no release. Like, it really seems that we would get, in terms of like big games, right? Dragon's Dogma, Rise of the Ronin on March 22nd, and then we have Black Myth Wukong on August 20th. And between that, there has been no like big sort of thing. And the same happened in 2022 with, of course, Elden Ring, Horizon, Tiny Tina in March, and then the first game in August was Saints Row. Of course, there are smaller games here and there, but like talking about the bigger releases, last year we of course had a constant slate of new releases.
2022, we were just so lucky because 2022 was like, we had Elden Ring, which pretty much everybody played and talked about for like 3-4 months straight, and so it just filled the void really well. I don't know if we're gonna have something like that this year though, because there doesn't seem to be any huge tentpole game that could dominate public discourse like that in the same way.
No, I don't think so either. I think Dragon's Dogma 2 will be that, oh my god, this is maybe better than people expect, but I don't think it will be on the same level. And of course, the Elden Ring DLC could perfectly land in May. Like that I do think that could be that sweet spot for them.
Mm-hmm.
We know it won't be before March or before April, so they will need more time for that. So I thought, like, because we did not talk about all the specific games, why not look at the year and mention a lot of titles? So then I do think we walk away feeling like, okay, it's indeed maybe a bigger year than we last week gave it credit for. So that was kind of the plan here.
Yeah. Let me pull up. I mean,
yeah, we got a donation here real quick from Drinner D.
Oh, Drinner. Swapping between so many
lot.
tabs. Drinner, thank you. Oh, geez, 10. Very generous. What's up, guys? It's been a while. Luke, did you ever check out Trepang 2? Jor, any thoughts on Path of Exile possibly surpassing Diablo 4? Any other games get ruined by live service BS lately?
Tune in to find out.
Yeah, it's like this season. As for Trepang 2, I have it on my wish list. I have just not pulled the trigger yet. The newest game I tried out of nowhere was last night I tried Lethal Company, finally, that game that's been going viral everywhere. And it was a good
Oh, yeah.
time. Very funny. Very a very good like group social dynamic party game. It was really fun.
Cool.
But yeah, I need
Yeah,
to try Trepang. Yeah.
yeah. Path of Exile, of course, the second game I think is coming out this year. Um, like surpassing Diablo 4. Like I do think Path of Exile is free to play, but I've never played Path of Exile. I do know there's like a hardcore fan base for it, and the second game looks even better from the sort of trailers and gameplay that I've seen. But yeah, I think it's hard. Like I think Diablo 4 will get the Game Pass this year, so that will totally boost the numbers because then it's basically quote unquote free to play if you already have the subscription. So that will probably boost Diablo 4. They of course have the expansion as well. I think Path of Exile 2 will be big though, because when the first game came out, I don't think the sort of Twitch audience and stuff like that was really big. So I do think a lot of streamers will jump on it. But I think Diablo 4 with the recent season has been doing pretty well for itself actually.
Yeah.
So
I think it's the one thing I've not played a lot of these in the end game phases, so let me be clear, I'm not an expert at all with these types of games, but it does seem that PoE is much harder core and much more niche than Diablo. Like Diablo did an amazing job of getting that mainstream appeal, which is something Blizzard's always been able to do. And I don't think PoE is going to do that, because part of what excites people about PoE is just how hardcore it is and how much it's not like streamlined and dumbed down for ease of access and stuff. So it's probably a much better long-term game than Diablo 4 has been thus far. But do I think it like surpasses it? Probably among hardcore fans, yeah, but among the broader like mainstream, probably not. That would be my guess, personally.
yeah, I think you're probably right. And I mean, these games can perfectly coexist.
Yeah,
So.
They're kind of fulfilling different market niches.
Yeah.
And then as for the last part, any other games ruined by live service BS lately? Can you think of any other announced games that have been spoiled by that? I don't know. It seems like they've gone to rather like than doing the Naughty Dog and Rocksteady thing. A lot of these companies are now shifting towards giving them to dedicated multiplayer studios, which is, I think, a better option. And I think they've realized that.
I'm still scared for Guerrilla Games and their because actually in the Insomniac leak, there was like one. It didn't reveal anything, but it said like it was like one page and it said Guerrilla Games current project, the multiplayer Horizon game, and that was the only project that they were working on right now. And I think that after Zero Dawn, they immediately went to work on Forbidden West. So I think once again we are seeing that. I do think Horizon 3 will be way later than the usual 5-year gap, because a lot of developers that I follow on X or Twitter have now in their bio, I worked on Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, and now I'm working on the Horizon Online project. Like, on one end, that's cool that they are putting those resources there. That really shows that that the best talent at Guerrilla Games is working on it. On the other hand, that means that they're not working on Horizon 3. So, I'm still holding my fingers crossed that game will be successful, or it's going to be a huge gamble, I think. And, will be interesting. On the other hand, I do think that Horizon is kind of hitting a ceiling in terms of what it can achieve for single-player games. I mean, did you see that Horizon Zero Dawn is the best-selling PS4, PS5 game of all the games? Because it sold super well on PC, more than God of War. It does like it's like 4 million on PC, and Horizon Zero Dawn
I've always
sold
thought,
like 20 million.
And I'm not the only person to say this, but I've always thought that Horizon is primarily sold, especially in the mainstream, based off of the spectacle. It's just a really cool visual kind of premise that you're a human in a sort of post-apocalyptic world fighting gigantic robot dinosaurs. That's just cool. And so it's almost the Avatar effect, where people are going and playing it at launch because it looks really cool. Beyond that, like, they're not probably paying that much attention to the story or to the lore implications of different things. Like, they're mostly there to fight big robot dinosaurs, and that's pretty much it. And
Yeah.
that can be great. That can be fine. That can definitely sell a lot of copies. But you do have to ask yourself, okay, how do we turn the knob up even higher? And I agree. I think, like, what does Horizon 3 do that's really different and exciting? I'm not sure. I think it needs like a spin-off or a reinvention in a
Yeah.
way. Like if they did
And
something like an Elden Ring style thing where it's about these massive kind of boss fights or hunts, you could do a Monster Hunter type of thing, where instead of just hunting 1,000 Thunderjaws to try and get, okay, 1,000 is an exaggeration, but instead of hunting like 6 Thunderjaws to get the crafting materials you need, have it be like a much more elaborate process to go hunt one of these. Like you have to plan for it, you have to get all the materials and everything. I think that could do really, really well and make it a little more hardcore. But then again, like that might satiate the more hardcore gamers. It might not lead to the most sales though.
Yeah, it's a fascinating conversation. I saw the Avatar comparison as well, and I just don't think that's true. I think Avatar has reached its peak, I think, already. And I think Horizon is still really in the early days in terms of they are still going to do the TV show. They did this world is so fascinating, and right now we've only seen it through the eyes of Aloy. And I really hope that they can expand on it. And maybe the online game is the right call because that's what I've been thinking about more with, again, what can they do in Horizon 3? Because the biggest part is that Forbidden West sold way less than Zero Dawn. That's like that's not something you want to see
Yeah.
in a franchise, that your first game is super successful. Again, 24 million or so for Zero Dawn, and then you have Forbidden West that is at 8.5 million, and then they put it in PlayStation Plus Extra, and then it did not sell more. People were just playing it through that service, and I don't think you get the most engaged fans from that.
No.
So they're in this really interesting position where the third game, how is that gonna sell more than the second one? Like, it will be an even higher barrier to entry. Like, I did not play Forbidden West and also the DLC. I don't know what's going on anymore. It looks cool, but I'm good. So maybe this reset, this online game that seems to be more an open world as well, that should still have narrative because they are looking for like narrative directors and writers to work on this online game. Maybe this is their plan, and maybe this will propel, because it will probably launch on PC day one as well, to a way bigger audience and then show how cool this world is. But what my worry is to get back to that like live service, what ruined. I would not be surprised if the Horizon Online game is super successful. Guerrilla Games like, let's make season after season, and people are eating it up, that there will be a blog post or like a Twitter post or whatever where it's like, black thing, we know you want to see the end of Aloy's story, unfortunately. Like that they're just like cutting, like making Horizon 3 either a smaller game or releasing a comic to tell how, like, I don't think that they will go that far, but I do think that if the Horizon Online project is so successful and Sony sees we can way better put all the resources into that game, make DLC, etc., that will cannibalize or like hurt the single player part of it, and I'm kind of scared for that.
Well, I mean, it's the other thing that's been kind of confirmed with all of the financial document leaks and slideshows and stuff, and it's just that these single player games are horrifyingly expensive. Like they are so expensive to make. Like these are often more expensive than many blockbuster films, and so they're extremely expensive to produce. It's very difficult to recoup the money, especially like, you know, when you are hoping for 24 million units and it looks like over the same period of time you might get up to 10 or 12 million, you know, not even surpassing the last entry. And so you just have to wonder what the long-term prospects are. For me, I think the frustration, and I saw it echoed, granted, in my own echo chamber and my community, but I saw a lot of people that just were frustrated that Horizon Forbidden West was the same formula of Zero Dawn with very little changed and improved, in my opinion. Like, sure, there were more dinosaurs. Sure, there was technically a bigger map. There were more beautiful set pieces and stuff. But it didn't really do anything novel or different. It felt like just a big DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. And I don't think I think you get away with that once, but then people kind of check out because they're sick of the formula, like we've seen with Assassin's Creed. Once people realize that you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again, they sit out until something goes on sale or until you show them that something's really changed. And maybe that online game is the revamp and is the reinvention that the fans don't realize they want. Or maybe it just burns people out more and spoils it.
Yeah, or maybe it creates a new audience. Like, it could be. I remember going to the Anthem preview event, and I was there with like BioWare hardcore fans, and they were like, "So, this game is not for us. Like, we are the biggest BioWare fans ever, and we're playing this, and we're like, yeah, we don't see the Bio. Of course, that game had many issues, but." It was BioWare trying to get a new audience. And maybe this is the same for Guerrilla Games. That's, yeah, the people that like Aloy's story for whatever reason and like to just play it alone, that they now have to team up with 3 other randos to take out a Thunderjaw that they can first kill alone. Maybe that's not gonna go well for them. But yeah, maybe that is what they're kind of chasing. So it will be fascinating. I see Imperium in in the chat here. Don't forget that VR game from Horizon. That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
That actually, yeah. I'm like one of the biggest Horizon fans. I did not finish it because I just, it was not why I like that series so much. Even though it was what I said, a new game, a new perspective on the world. But it was made by like a second team. It was not like a Guerrilla Games game.
Yeah.
So
it's just,
but yeah,
I think they're trying to find ways to utilize these IP that are really successful. I think, The Last of Us has done a great job crossing over into the mainstream with HBO. And, we're going to see them attempt that with other franchises, of course, and hopefully those find success as well. But I'm not convinced that you can just take X franchise, make a TV show, maybe a movie, and then also toss in a live service version of the same formula and then have it all be successful. I just don't think every franchise works like that and can cater to it. Maybe Horizon does, but I think it's going to matter a lot on sort of the key premises of this online game. Is it meant to be just kind of a cartoony version of the base games, but now you can play with friends? That is
we have to wait and see. We don't know. Maybe that it was old concept art. Maybe they've changed. I hope that they've changed the look. But we will have to wait and see. But it is interesting. Like, God of War sold super well. God of War Ragnarok has already sold more. So it does show you that I think Ghost of Tsushima 2 will sell way more than 1.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
It is that is kind of, I do think that inside Guerrilla Games there must be some like, is it like worth it to put so much resource into this? Maybe we're overdoing it, because I saw some people say as well, isn't there also an Horizon MMO? And that quickly touched on the news story. Yes, there is, and that's separate from the Horizon online game. People are constantly confused about this. I totally get it, but like, to put it out real quick, so there's the single player games. There's the online game that's called Horizon Online that is Guerrilla Games is making themselves. Seems to be the primary project right now. Then we have Zero Dawn Remaster. Looking at the sales for Zero Dawn, kind of get why they're doing it now. And of course, they have the TV show on Netflix. So they hope to get some new people interested, and they will then buy the Zero Dawn Remaster. And then we have the NCSoft mobile game potentially. And this game seems to be run on, so of course Decima is the Guerrilla Games engine. Death Stranding is using it as well. Seems like this Horizon MMO game will be on Unreal Engine 5 though. Again, made by NCSoft. They are known for Guild Wars, Lineage, Aeon. So yeah, that's like a completely separate project that's being made in Korea. And that will launch way later than the online project and be mostly on phones, maybe also on PC. And I saw some people say, why is it not coming to PlayStation? But I do think that's why is Assassin's Creed Jade not coming to console? Like, there's just a reason why these mobile games work on mobile, and people on console have different experience.
Plus, you all have phones, don't you?
That's
also,
right.
Mr. Boogie, thank you, or Boogle. Boogie, Boogle. I think Boogle. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, my friend. Thank you. Very generous.
Ooh. Okay, so yeah, like I told you before the podcast, I do have some people over, so I do have to go. Not yet, but that's why I wanted to move on. If
You're
you're
good.
okay with
Don't
that.
worry. Yeah.
So I saw someone ask if we talked about Star Wars Outlaws yet. So I thought it was interesting to quickly go over that news story. That's of course the open world Ubisoft Star Wars game. That is one of the biggest games probably this year. I mean, it might be the Jedi Fallen Order sort of. Fallen Order was like the number 3 best-selling game the year it came out, so in 2019. Maybe Star Wars Outlaws has the can get there as well if it's like any good. So Disney put up a blog post. They were like, "Oh, what you can expect from all our brands in 2024," and there they mentioned Star Wars Outlaws as well. That would be coming in late 2024, and a lot of people like ran with that story because we just know 2024. We even know that it was at one point in the ambitious Ubisoft hallways like planned for early 2024. We of course know that has been delayed, so it won't be coming out before April 2024, but afterwards. And so Disney ran with late 2024. So yeah, that would be October, November. But then Ubisoft reached out to Kotaku, and there they basically said the late 2024 was a mistake. It is just gone like with them like correcting, like even like in the early days of January, sending an email to Kotaku about it. I do think that implies that it's mid of the year, like it's nowhere near late. Otherwise, why would you really go out of your way to correct that? So yeah, it's coming maybe in that first half. That would be cool to have this in May or something. May the 4th, maybe or later.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
What day of the week is that? Hold on. That would be amazing.
I mean, I don't think because Star Wars Jedi Survivor also launched like just before May the 4th. They were so close, so I don't think they look at that at all.
Yeah.
For any.
It's a Saturday, so probably not.
R.I.P.
It would have been great.
Yeah. But still, like released the day before, and then in some countries it's already May the 4th. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, giving that extra. No, but yeah. So it's probably coming a little earlier. And that makes sense because I wanted to throw this up as well. Remember that Ubisoft out of nowhere announced Division 3 last year. And they basically said, yo, Julian, who is now the creative director on Star Wars Outlaws, when he's done, like when Star Wars Outlaws has shipped, were the correct words, he will return to the division to be a brand executive producer. So basically oversee the development of the Division 3, but also look at the Heartland game, the free-to-play console title, and the Resurgence, which the mobile game that is launching in a few months. So yeah, with them already saying that in September 2023, would be weird if more than a year later he would finally go to work on the Division 3. Also, that Ubisoft post said the Division 3 development begins. So I do think that Star Wars Outlaws is sooner than we maybe think. Because, they're already starting without him. And, he has to join as soon as possible, I think.
I mean, it would be really interesting if that's what this ends up breaking down as, because I think we're all just so used to things being delayed into oblivion that like the prospect of a game coming like a little faster than you thought is just so novel. It's so weird. But
and Ubisoft normally only launches games in the October, November, December, January, February, March. So it's not common for them to launch earlier. But this, of course, with Disney, so there are probably other moving parts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's exciting.
So, and I mean that's one game that has everybody very, very intrigued and very interested. So, I'm looking forward to that one. That one's going to be crazy as we find out more about it.
Can't wait to buy the Mandalorian Helix pack, though. Really curious. You know it's gonna be there.
Oh, it's gotta be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can get like an extra. You can get a skin for the little creature that follows you around that makes
Oh
it look like
no!
Baby Yoda or something.
Oh, oh man! Oh yeah, they're gonna abuse that for sure.
And you know we're all gonna buy it. I mean, let's be honest, we're all gonna
Uh,
buy it.
you wanna go over the list that I put in the doc for like I think just naming them, and then if we want to say something quick about the game,
Yeah,
this was like kind of like an idea to go over all the games that I think could be interesting, that I think we will at least maybe mention once in the future on the podcast.
sure,
Uh,
sure. So at very top of the list, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is coming on January 18th. This is one I
Ooh.
think we both have mentioned it before. It looks really good for the kind of game it is, but I personally am not sure if the kind of game it is going to help it succeed in the mainstream.
Yeah.
I think just the genre.
Unless it has like nines or something, like really high scores, and maybe it gets like a renaissance at the Game of the Year awards or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like really that good because it's the Rayman Legends team, and I do think those games got like best family game or something. Probably
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
They probably had some awards.
So it's a great team. It's a great team, and so far it
Yeah.
looks really good. It's just it might struggle to find mainstream appeal.
You got your review code yet?
Maybe not.
Okay. Okay, now I think you are allowed to say it, but I don't want to put words into your mouth. But I saw some people online that had it already. So
If
uh,
you were hypothetically allowed to say that you do, hypothetically, then I would confirm yes.
okay,
But
yeah,
if I
okay.
were hypothetically unsure if you can confirm it, I would be really coy.
I saw some other people do it. So now I saw like the VGC guy as well. So I
Oh,
do
okay.
think you can.
Then yeah.
Yeah.
I do
Cool,
have
cool,
a
cool.
copy. Yeah.
Nice.
Something I don't have a copy of, Sony.
Uh,
The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. I don't know if they'll send
I
out
do
codes
know.
for this. Oh, you do?
yeah. I already had one like.
This guy.
Last
Oh,
year.
I think you mentioned it. Yeah.
I wish.
To be fair, I have forgotten to email. I have a post-it note on my desk about emailing them about it, and I keep forgetting. So it's my own damn fault. That one, really interested in seeing. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to just play that roguelite mode. I think that's gonna be fun. $10 upgrades. I don't think I will play through the whole game again.
Yeah. I
but
mean, it's it can be a bit of a trudge. I'll tell you what.
yeah. I did do it for part one, but that was like, yeah, only played Lost of Us 1 like in 2013. So
I did too, because I thought that there was going to be some new stuff added. I thought they were like joking with us, and then it ended up just being the game, and like that was it. So I was like, oh well, crap.
yeah.
Okay, what else do we have?
Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I haven't not played the previous one, but I heard good things about it. But that looks like a game that you need to have the time for it.
Yeah, very big game. Very big game.
Yeah.
Tekken 8. I personally am not a huge fighting game player. I just am not very good at them, and I've never cared enough to get good at them. So I know some people are super into them. The last fighting game I really spent time playing was, I think, Injustice 2. And I played that with Nikki. We went through the story together and like handed off the controller between fights. That was a good time. But other than that, I haven't really played fighting games much at all.
Yeah, same. I will maybe play it at a friend's house at one point or not.
Yeah.
That's kind of my.
And then Persona 3 Reload. I know some people that are going to absolutely lose
Yeah,
it when
no,
this
it's
drops.
cool that they're remaking that, and it's on Game Pass as well. Don't mention the next game.
Yeah, sorry everybody. We
We're not allowed
can't
to-
talk about this. We talk about it too much. We're just going to skip past it.
Yeah, yeah. So
Helldivers-
if you,
Yeah,
if you
we'll just-
know what's coming out on February 2nd, then you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Even that was too specific.
Oh, really?
Helldivers 2 coming to PC and PS5 on February 8th. This is one I think Sony's like trying to push. I don't know. I've heard nobody talking about it, honestly.
No. I might stream it, and that will be it.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
I
doesn't
did
seem-
play the first game though. Thought it was great, but it's like kind of hardcore. It's like friendly fires on and stuff.
Oh, really? Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Banishers, Ghost of New Eden.
Yeah. I'm curious about this one, the new Donut game. So they of course did Remember Me and Vampire, and this looks to be more like that. And they of course also are known for Life is Strange. But yeah, it kind of gives me low-key God of War 2018 vibes, and then with choices that have an impact on the world. I'm always for new IPs, single player action RPGs, so I really hope this is good. But yeah, I hope it's not another like Atlas Fallen, which was of course the previous big focus game, and that did not do it for me. So
Yeah, no, and the Vampire team. Vampire is one of the games I actually end up going back to a lot. It's just really different. It's really unique, and it's got plenty of clunk. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very rough around the edges, but if you play that thing and if you like stories with like branching consequence and a Victorian setting, you're gonna love it. It's pretty cool. Let's see, Tomb
people in the
Raider.
chat, what is a Helldiver? Like, they really have to start the marketing on that one.
Everybody's like, what? Yeah, exactly. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered starring Lara Croft. Yes, everyone, it's Lara, not Laura. That's also a pet peeve of mine when people are like, oh, it's Laura Croft. Like, it's not Laura. There's no U. But that comes out on Valentine's Day. Aww. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to, like, if I care that much.
If you, like, get someone on Valentine's Day and want to lose them 2 days later, go force them to play Skull and Bones with you.
Give them a Skull and Bones pre-order for Valentine's Day, and then go right in there. That's finally launching on the 16th of February. It's finally going to be a thing. I've played it. I've tried it. It's just... there's just not much there. And it's just
How
too
is
bad.
It possible?
Some
8
people,
years.
Some people I think are going to like it, but it's just like everything it tries to do, other games just do better. And then they have other things like there's a solid hour and a half of grind before you get your first like ship that you can use, where you're going around as a pirate collecting like crafting materials with a little mini game where you have to select things in a sliding window at the right. When it's in the green, you have to hit the slider in there, and it's just like, I thought I was a pirate. Why am I doing this? This is like tedious for a mobile game. What are we doing? Just a lot of weird choices. Nightingale coming to PC on February 22nd in early access.
You know which game that is? That's the ex-Bioware makers that are doing like a survival game, and it has like a pretty cool system where in the world you, of course, like collect wood and stuff. You make like a village, and then you collect cards as well, and then you can combine these cards at a portal, and then that portal opens up like a randomized different world, and then you go into that world, and it's like there are different creatures, and it should be like endless. And the idea is that there will be this community that will be like, if you combine this card with this card, then you get this type of world, blah, blah, blah. So the ideas are pretty cool. The art style is really awesome. It's a first person like survival game, so that's kind of throwing me off. But I do think it could be like a stream hit when it launches in early access.
Yeah, and we've seen that there's some games that just do well in terms of streaming, like the one I mentioned earlier, the Lethal Company. As a game, got a lot of problems. It's like it's very clunky, kind of buggy. It's kind of weird. It doesn't always work properly, but it's freaking hilarious, and it works tremendously well as a streamer game. And what have we seen? Overwhelming success. Like, it has 200,000 overwhelmingly positive Steam reviews or something stupid like that. Like, crazy successful. Almost purely because it's a really good game with friends and for streamers to play for their audiences. So if you have another game that comes out and is also good like that in the same way, that could be all you really need to be set up for immense success in the long term.
Yeah, cool.
Sons of the Forest, didn't this already launch?
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I was like, maybe it's like early access as well, and now it's out. Is that possible?
Like the official 1.0 version? Maybe.
I think so. But let's skip like that. There's like a Brothers A Tale of Two Sons remake that was announced at the Game Awards for people who did not play that. And then the big one for me, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There are people already saying that it will be the game of the year of this year, and I'm like, what? It's January 5th. What are you talking about? But I do think it has a chance of being in that conversation. Of course, the first part of the remake was amazing, and this looks to be bigger. I'm just so scared for Square, and I should not be like their company, but I just don't see new people play this. I really think it will be kind of like what we talked about with Horizon. Like, if you like the remake, they did give it away on PlayStation Plus at one point. So yeah, there are way more people. Like, a lot of people have played that first game and might be curious, but yeah, they call it 7 again, Rebirth. Like, the naming is like weird again. I'm just this should be like Final Fantasy 16, a tentpole open world Sony RPG or like PlayStation 5 exclusive RPG. And like we talked about it as well, like probably if we do a video on it, there won't be a lot of people watching, but there is still an audience out there. I just think that this game will sell super well day one, and then it will fizzle out, sadly. So
Yeah, I have the
hope I'm
same
wrong.
kind of feeling, especially with it being a sequel to the part one of a remake of an older game. I think people will play it. We'll talk about it, but I'm starting to get a feeling again that this might be another Final Fantasy 16 situation where it's really good, but it just doesn't really dominate a lot of discourse. So unfortunately, so we'll see. Outlast Trials, also that one I thought also came out. Maybe this is also
okay.
Also like
then
official.
That list that the Polygon was not up to date.
Yeah.
Let's move on then.
Yeah. Alone in the Dark. I'm trying to remember this one.
This the one with the actor from Stranger Things, like the they delayed it out of October because of the other games there. But yeah, it's like a third person. It's like a
this rings a bell. Alone in the
David
Dark.
Harbour.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I wanted to keep an eye on. Remember, I thought
You got a very nice donation. You should.
did I? Sorry, I have my full screen on this that you guys can see.
Sure.
So
I will go continue with the list afterwards.
Okay. So, oh my god, everything is so zoomed in. Hold on. Okay. We're getting there. Hold on. Jose, thank you for the 20. Luke Stevens is a sexy MFer. You're damn right. I love your channel. Keep doing what you're doing, badass brother. Keep it up. Thank you, my friend. You guys got to also send Mr. Joe Raptor some love too. Joe Raptor is a hunk as well.
I mean, I'm loved. I'm good, but it's sometimes nice to get to. I mean, I'm not that sexy MF though, so like some things are no. I'm kidding.
Okay. Thank you, my friend. That's very generous of you. Thank you.
Yeah, very generous. Thanks.
As for this stuff,
Thanks, Dylan.
Let's see. Alone in the Dark. Dragon's Dogma 2. I think what you said earlier is right. I think this is one of those games that probably is not going to be talked about a ton before it launches, besides the core fan base. But I do think once clips of this start going viral on like TikTok and YouTube, I think people are going to start to play it. And I think this is going to be probably a couple weeks after it initially launches, I think is when it's going to really start to peak in terms of public discourse. So I expect that to do really well. Rise of the Ronin, I've heard a lot of people talk about this one, and I think a lot of people are interested. I'm like, it doesn't look bad, but I still would rather just have Ghost of Tsushima 2, and I'm hoping that they announce that once
it's the appetizer. It's the appetizer, right? Yeah. We don't have Ghost of Tsushima 2, so why not have this? I think it's gonna be I see a lot of anticipation for it as well. I just don't think we've seen enough to really give it that sort of like hype, but I do think it will be the first game from Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja that are working on it, that really maybe finally reaches that more mainstream audience, because they're hungry for Ghost 2, and this looks like that open world game in the Japanese setting. There will be multiple difficulties. I think I once said on a podcast and in a video as well that it will be of similar like difficulty versus Neo, that of course this team did before it, but it should be actually a bit there will be options, so that's of course nice. So it still will be hard for people that want it, but if you want a more regular Sony exclusive type experience, you can go for that as well. So I think that's probably Sony telling them, hey, we want this to appeal to more people. I really hope it's good. I still think the freaking March 22nd, same day as Dragon's Dogma 2, come on, guys.
Yeah,
Like,
just why? There's no reason for it. I agree.
Yeah,
It's like you're
it's
kind of
sad.
shooting yourself
It
in the
sucks.
foot. You just don't need to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, and then after that, there is probably my most anticipated game of the whole
I
year.
know.
South Park Snow Day. This was one of the far out of left field games that I don't think anybody really saw coming. There were rumors they were working on another South Park game. I didn't expect it to be this. I'm not mad about it. I'm just not like it's no stick of truth, but it looks like it could be fun.
But it makes those games feel even more special. Like that was like watching a South Park TV show, but you were actually playing it. The combat was hilarious, and how they like changed that up. I thought those games were really really good. And this, like talking about live service BS, like this is that, right? It's like let's pick a South Park as a popular series and maybe make like a PvP game about it or something. I've watched a few trailers, like a multiplayer sort of match based sort of PvP game, right? Yeah, I don't know. And again, the graphics.
It just goes to show you that like this is the normal kind of TV show, movie, game tie-in thing that we get or used to get. And so again, like you said, it makes Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole feel all the more special that we got those instead. I think it'll be fun. It won't be for everybody, of course. I'll probably try it for
look.
a
Since
couple
you
hours.
said people should send some love my way, the chat has been amazing. So thanks everyone for
good.
that. That's cool.
See,
very cool. Yeah,
they all think it. They just don't verbalize.
Yeah.
Everybody was thinking it already. Black Myth Wukong. This one also has a lot of people very interested. It's looked amazing for a long time. Whether it's a good video game or just a really good game that showcases well. But do you think, based on what you played, do you see that working for 20, 30 hours?
Yeah.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I do. Yeah,
that's
I
good.
do. So, I mean, they have even open levels, some gear and stuff to collect. The bosses all seem super varied. I just love that you kind of feel powerful as well. Instead, that's always my pet peeve with the Souls games from software, apart from Sekiro, and that's my favorite. Like it feels like I'm sometimes just fighting against the controller because I just want to like move like Aloy or something and then fight this enormous creature, and that is what Black Myth Wukong is kind of giving you with really cool abilities. We will have to see how deep it all goes, but I think it will. If what I played, I mean, for me it was already like that. It was like, what am I gonna fight this time? And the world is beautiful. Maybe the story there probably won't really be one. That will be interesting, I think. But yeah, this game also like this one of those kind of similar to Hogwarts Legacy. Obviously, it's completely different, but this is one of those games that is not on like a lot of people's radar in the sort of gaming people that are working in the industry. But every time they launch like a gameplay, and it has been like this has been going on for many years. They've released like a trailer every year, and these rank in like 5 million, 10 million views. And there are just people that don't typically game, the Call of Duty bros. They will probably buy this as well because it looks insane. So I totally think this will set the world on fire if it's really as good as it looks when it comes out. It's kind of the Biomutant thing. Remember that? But that of course fell flat. But there was still like there wasn't and I think Black Myth Wukong is completely different in terms of like how good it's probably gonna be. But for Biomutant, there was also this weird sort of need for it. People were really hoping it was gonna be great, and then it sadly turned out to be bad. So I've different hope for this, but I do think it could be a really big success if it does well. If it's
I agree. I think that could be one of the surprise / not surprise hits of the year. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. This is one I'm also naturally very excited for as a Warhammer fan. We've seen tidbits where they're bringing, 1,000 Suns, which is my main army. They're going to be in there. In addition to Tyranids, which have been in most of the trailers and stuff that we've seen. It was originally slated for release late 2023 or just 2023. I think they said holiday technically. And then it was pushed all the way to September, which hopefully just
Yeah.
means that they're giving it extra time, extra polish. It was a little stuttery in some of the stuff that we saw. Like,
And this could be big for them. So good on them that they give it more time.
yeah, I agree. And I think, at least from what I've seen, there is a flood of new players coming into the tabletop. If you go into any of these Warhammer stores that you see, they are just constantly swarmed with brand new players. Over the holidays, there were tons of people coming in, buying gifts for their like sons and grandsons who were getting into the game for the first time. And so I think it's growing very, very quickly. And these video games and stuff are only going to help. And then, of course, also we have the Henry Cavill Amazon show that is now in the works officially. And so that could be part of this tie-in. Maybe this ties in with trailers or other stuff that we start to get, and you'll start to see a big push in Warhammer. So if you've ever been interested in Warhammer, I'm telling you, this is probably a really good time to get into it, because you'll be in before the wave of craziness that's going to inevitably come with the TV show. So
for sure.
Plus then you can hear me ramble about it and it'll make sense.
Yeah. And and the game looks surprisingly good. It has scope as well this time. So I'm gonna head off now. We only have we went through all the games that have a release date right now, but there are of course still some other games. Should I just quickly mention them? I don't think we can
Foam Stars. We have to mention that one. Probably the biggest one is Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree. We're all kind of waiting.
That could like launch any moment. We actually this week, that is by the way news. We learned that the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is coming this year, and Silent Hill 2 as well. So both the Konami remakes are coming. Stellar Blade actually as well. We heard about that too. That's the DMC, from Chinese makers, I think, or Korean. But they're like one of those projects that Sony's kind of like putting their money behind, and it looks pretty cool. That should also be coming in 2023. Of course, some other games: Hellblade 2, Little Nightmares 3, Hades 2 will get in early access in Q2 2024.
Greedfall 2, that's one that's interesting.
Could be cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming without release dates, which I'm wondering if that was a lot of it. People just sitting on the sidelines waiting to hear when GTA 6 was set to release, because until like a month ago.
I mean, it's always this case though, right? That we have that we know games that are coming this year, but just don't know when. So I don't know if it's like related to that. I do think a lot of people in 2024 are like, thank God.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of sighs of relief, I think. But now I think there's a lot of freedom to place it where they need to. We probably get a few of these releasing in the summer, a lot in the fall. But I agree. Like you said earlier, I think we'll probably have a bit of a dry spell between probably May and August, where there's just not a whole lot.
Maybe even April starting that as well. Maybe again Star Wars Outlaws would be perfect for that.
A summer game people can just sink their teeth into. It would do great, assuming it's good, of course. But but with all that, you've got to get to your friends that you've got over.
Yes,
this has been wonderful as always,
for sure. Yes, and let's do it again next week, I would say.
We'll run it back. For everybody else listening, thank you for joining us. I will be back on stream here in about 40 minutes. I'm just going to take a little bit of a break, and then I'll be streaming as per normal, and we'll be doing a bunch of stuff. That'll be a good time. So stick around, go take a break. We'll be back. And with all that, thank you guys for watching, listening, all the generous contributions. You guys are wonderful.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and hope you again had a great year so far. And we will have many episodes for you this year. So leave reviews, leave a like.
Yes.
And
yes. We'll see you guys soon. Much love. Hugs and kisses. Bye bye.
Bye bye.